I think it's, we haven't seen a huge uptick. I think it's still founders are having a hard time finding investors that are very aligned with what they're doing. Or if they are, then the investors are very picky and they say, well, come back to us when you have a product, you have traction, and you have product market fit. So I think it's still a challenge. I think if you're really going after social impact bond, that's really a commitment. That's going to be for sure the way they're going to go. I would think strongly about benefit corporations because they have a demonstrated commitment, and that's one of the requirements for those bonds. So I think that those kind of entities make it a little bit easier to go after social impact bonds, but I think they would also make it a little bit more difficult to go after more traditional investors like impact investors. But again, I think it's going to be, for the most part, what I see is smaller angel investors who are really mission aligned and they understand, they're from San Francisco and Silicon Valley and they understand the value of that. Or if there's a product component to what you're doing, then a Fortune 500 company who has a venture arm and is interested in sort of making a strategic investment. Those are kind of the more traditional investments that I've seen. But there's also some really cool angel firms that are a little bit more willing to deviate from the regular corporation, both in the East Bay and also in San Francisco. Like Better Ventures, for example, is one that's dedicated almost exclusively to social enterprises and companies that have a social mission. So I would identify those, but I think it's still kind of a tough thing to overcome for a lot of traditional investors.
Yeah, I would say talk to the folks that you're hoping to get money from. And if you talk to them, they will always say it's never too early to talk to us. Whether that's actually true, it depends. But it is good to get on their radar early, or find advisors who are familiar with them, or familiar with the space, and talk to them about their experience with it. But there's nothing beats talking to the people that you're going to try to seek help from.
Yeah, and it's similar to social impact bonds like PRIs. Again, they're not very prominent, and they're very difficult to get. But that's another avenue where if you're structured as a benefit corporation, it makes it a little bit easier to get PRIs because part of the legal requirement for them is that the investments that they make have to be related to their own exempt purpose. So by having that mission built into your organization, you make it a little bit of an easier sell. Bye.